last week my life, well, I guess her life forever changed. Her name was Abby, and it was a normal day for her. She woke up bright and early, went to her scheduled lecture for the day, had a coffee with her girlfriend, and then went to the park. Abby would always go to the park as her day was winding down. It let her breathe. She sat there, just taking in the surrounding area, the chirping birds, the heavy breaths of the sunset joggers, and the wind sweeping over the grass. The grass, it was moving this time, not how it would normally move, barely perceptible. When the heavy wind collides with the grass, there's normally a constant force to it, as if there's one big fan just pushing the grass in the direction it wanted. It feels natural, and Abby knew how that felt. Today that wasn't the case. It was a ripple, and from the dead center of the grassy park came a wave. Unless you were paying attention you wouldn't notice, but there were ups and downs. The earth underneath it was also rippling. Riding the wave, Abby became lost in it, transfixed. It was calling to her. It was hypnotizing. It was reverberating in Abby's mind, and the grass started to bend in incomprehensible ways, folding in on itself as the waves got harsher, less rhythmic, creating shapes that shouldn't exist. Chaos, the serenity had ceased, and she was being swallowed. Then I woke up. I was sitting on a park bench, the same park bench, and it was night. My name was Abby, and I felt like Abby. I was obviously weirded out by this. I had lost hours of my day, but I'd always been a bit floaty, a bit of a daydreamer. I would get lost in my environment. Something in the back of my head was repressing my confusion though. It wanted me to push this aside and go home, so I did. I caught back up to my daily routine right where I left off. I left the park and went back to my dorm room. I passed some people, and they gave me weird looks, but I also felt that I needed to push that aside. So I just went to my room and opened the door. It was then that I saw her, sitting on my couch with my girlfriend Alice in her arms. It was me. It was Abby. We just stared at each other, a reflection without a mirror. Neither of us knew what to do until Alice spoke. Alice left Abby's embrace quickly and shot up to her feet. "What the hell is this?" she said, bewildered, looking between the two of us. Abby didn't know what to say. "Alice, who is that?" I said, terrified, as I pointed towards Abby. Silence from everyone. What are you meant to do in this situation? Abby is sitting there with her girlfriend, and then she sees herself walk through the door. Abby knows she's herself, and at this point, it's fight or flight. To her, she is staring into the eyes of a monster, so she fights. The next few moments are a blur. Abby runs at me, grabs me, I push her hard. She falls, she hits her head, she's gone. I can't get the sight of it out of my head. Her head collided with the sharp edge of her cheap wooden desk and caved in. The top left corner of her left eye hit the edge as it drove into her skull. Her eye briefly split as it drooped over the now bloody corner of the desk, but the momentum carried her down. Her face slowly scraped down it. Eye cut in half as she slides further, pus leaking. She screams for about half a second before her head bends inwards, and the splintered surface scrapes across her brain. She dies. I think I see Alice smile for a second, but when I turn to look at her, she has the face of pure horror, and I start to scream. Before I have the chance to let it out, Alice runs at me. She puts her hand over my mouth and pushes me into the open door, closing it in the process. She doesn't move quite right. "Abby, I need you to be quiet, okay?" she says to me calmly. Tears start running down my face, but I nod my head. I didn't know what to do. She lets go of me and I take a deep breath. What are we going to do?" I say between panicked and harsh breathing. Alice holds out her house keys. "Go back to my place. I'll deal with this, okay?" Why is she being so calm? I just killed myself. I can see my corpse lying on the floor. How the hell is any of this happening? I spiral. Alice snaps me out of it. She closes my hand around her house keys. Her hands are moving. "Go now. I promise it's going to be okay." When there's a lack of options, you have to choose the only one available, so I take the keys and leave. I was in the hallway in disbelief, and then I see all the people. What I remembered to be a bustling hallway full of friends and roommates having conversation is now stairs. Everyone there is staring right at me, not with curiosity or fear, but with knowing. They know what I did, but they don't react how they should. A slight smile sits on their faces, a smile of routine, the kind you give to a cashier. You did your job. But a second later they were back to talking, back to their routine. I felt like I was going insane. I put my head down and rushed to Alice's apartment. As soon as I got there, I slammed the door behind me and wept. Nothing can prepare you to see someone die in front of your eyes, let alone yourself. I cried I don't know for how long. I just wanted to die in that moment. After a while, the tears stopped, and the thinking started. A million questions started rushing into my head. The park, my other self, Alice, me. Why, what, how? The most important question pushed itself to the forefront of my mind. How do I know I'm the real Abby? I skipped hours today at the park. I'm not the real Abby. Fear, dread, I don't know the emotion. But I didn't want it to be true. It couldn't be true. I knew I was real. I remember everything. Growing up and living life. I rushed to the bathroom. I stared at my reflection. It felt off. This could have just been my mind racing with crazy possibilities. But my reflection felt like a fake. I studied myself closer, looking into my eyes. And then I saw it, the ripple. From the dead center of my left eye came a ripple. The fluid inside my eye moved like waves, the color of my iris swirling like watercolor. Then it got more intense, ripples into thunderous waves, turning inside out, shapes that couldn't happen, my eyeball bending in on itself. Then it split, the corner of my eye ripped open, I jolted backwards, and it was gone. My eye was normal. I looked closer. No ripples, no anything. I grabbed a razor from the medicine cabinet. I took the razor towards the top of my left arm and started carving. A deep incision dragged all the way from the top of my forearm to the bottom. Blood started to flow heavily. I felt sick. I put the razor down and squeezed my fingers inside the wound. As I started pulling it apart, I tore, trying to see something. What I was trying to see, I'm not entirely sure. Just something to let me know I was me. Then it happened. The wound started sealing. From bottom to top, the cut healed. Well, I don't know whether healed is the right word. There was no scar. It just no longer ever happened. There was no cut to begin with. Instead, a perfectly wound-free arm. I was a robot or some kind of genetically modified freak clone that had to be it. I wasn't me. I'm some kind of messed up thing that stole my life and killed me. But I still feel like me, like Abby. Does it matter if I'm the real Abby or not? I functionally am, at least. It's like the ship of Theseus. I don't know whether that's an accurate analogy or not, but it's what came to my head when writing this. That's where I'm at right now. I don't know what I am, but I'm pretty sure I'm not Abby, or at least not the same Abby that I remember being. Alice just messaged me, and I don't know whether to be scared or relieved. She'll be here soon and says it's sorted. I don't know whether to trust her. Does she know? That look after the real me died makes me think she does, but maybe I'm imagining it. I'm writing this as a safety net in case my suspicions about Alice are correct. And so people know what happened to me, the real me. If you're seeing this, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe I'm dead, but I guess I'm already dead in a way. She'll be here soon, and I'll come to think of it. When Alice handed me the keys, there was something off, something about her hand. I remember seeing a ripple underneath her skin.